So with Michael J. White and Kimbo, what they're doing is Michael J. White is showing him a basic boxing punch, and then he's changing to a driving, more of a karate punch, but it's on the outside. So it's like a refined pro boxing punch that he's switching to. So basically what he does is he throws two punches, and it's like with the boxing punch you roll the shoulder and you get the whip that rolls through and then out. With more of a drive, basically you're driving the hand in rather than whipping the shoulder and driving across. So it's a much more refined position and it's much stronger. So if I'm stood here now and I say, let's watch this hand, and I throw one punch there, and then I throw another punch, and then I do that. So what I'm doing with the first two is I'm throwing a boxing punch where I'm swinging and I'm whipping through. The shoulder has to come back and around to transfer the energy into the arm. So as soon as the shoulder moves, you pick up on that. With Kimbo doing a lot of boxing, he's always watching people moving and throwing boxing punches, so he picks up on the shoulder movement. So when Michael J. White switches to the karate punch, so he's one boxing punch, two boxing punches, then the karate punch, the driving punch, what happens then is with the driving punch is it's more the core that twists and drives the shot out. So it's quicker for the arm to leave the body, it's a faster shot. Now if I'm here and then I go to throw, I have to drop my shoulder. And I've got quite a tight shoulder, so they don't drop as much as most people because of the curve. But if I come out here, then you can see how the shoulder drops. If I'm stood here and I'm throwing a straight shot, I'm just coming straight out and rotating around there, then as I go to throw, this shoulder moves forward before the hand goes. If I'm in a driving position, then as the shoulder moves forward straight away, I don't get this drop where it comes round and then goes. It just drives straight in, so it's much quicker, it's a stronger position. So when you get the boxers, when you get high level professional boxers, they're still using the swing because they can't hit on the other part of the knuckle, but they're literally as close to the drive as you can get in the boxing gloves. So when they're stood further out and he says put your hand up, and he's stood with his hands by his hips or down, the distance between his hands and Kimbo's is a distance that action beats reaction. So even though I could be stood further away from you, not a touching distance, that is a distance that action beats reaction, my touching distance. If he's got his hand out and I've got my hand out here and this hand is at the same distance, of that action reaction distance, then he will not be able to move his hand out of the way as long as my hand moves forward when I throw the punch and it doesn't pull back and swing through. So when you look at the more refined boxing punches, what you see a much more refined drive than you do with more of a whip. So with the more refined boxing punches, what you're getting is more of a drive there, and that's a boxing punch on the outside of the knuckle, there, rather than that sort of, I'm exaggerating that a lot, but more of a whip and coming out. So the higher level boxers aren't dropping the shoulder nowhere near as much, and how they counter that is what they do is, if I'm in a position here and I'm going to throw a punch, then I'm going to pull my hand back, load it up and then throw it. If I throw one punch out and then I put myself in this position, but after, as I go to roll there, I roll it up, I'm in a position there to throw. So as I throw one punch out, I make sure I'm in the position where the shoulder is already rolled. That way you get much more of a drive, driving straight in, rather than if it wasn't, then I'd have to load up and then throw the punch, rather than if I put this arm and this shoulder in the position where it's already dropped. Then when I throw the punch, it goes straight out and I don't get this roll or the build up or the pull. And also if you don't know how to line up and get in that position of the roll so you're firing out, what happens is when you're moving around and you're going to throw a punch, you'll plant your feet, you'll stand solid, and then you'll throw the roll. So it slows you down massively. What happens is when you understand the position in the boxing and you can fire it straight out, then what you're doing is you'll be moving around, and rather than moving around, stopping and rolling, you'll already be in the position, so you'll be moving around and you just drive it straight out. So wherever you are, drive, 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 drive. You can throw the drive straight out. You're still not getting on the kinetic part of the knuckle, but it makes a huge difference in the boxing.